Hi everyone! Today I am going to share some of my sewing related Christmas presents that I was given this year. Hi everyone, I am Lindsay and this is my first ever video on this channel, so thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please give it a wee thumbs up, and if you would like to see more from me, then you can click to subscribe. So I have been watching some of my favourite makers on Instagram and YouTube for the last year or so, and it's been really motivating me and inspiring me to do more sewing and be more creative. So I thought this year I would join in and start my own channel, and I'm hopeful that that will make me a little bit more accountable to keep my projects going so that I have something to share with you. So this is my first ever video. So I thought what would be a really nice thing to do for this first video is to share some of the sewing related gifts that I got given this year. While my tree is still up and while I'm still feeling a little bit Christmassy, I thought I would do that today. So I was really lucky and I got some lovely presents. Some of them were surprises, some of them were things I'd asked for. I think the first things I'll share with you are things I actually asked for. So I've got them here to show you. So the first thing that I asked for, and my husband bought me this, was the Silicone Hemmer, which I will just hold it up here. And this is by the company Generates, which is run by Jen Hogg, who was one of the Sewing Bee contestants a few years ago. And she now owns a company making sewing tools. She's based here in Scotland. I'm in Glasgow, I should say that. And she makes tools that she thinks are useful for makers, and this is one of them. So what is really cool about it is it's got a straight side that you can use, and then it's got markings from 0.5 centimetre up to 3 centimetres. So you can also mark through these little holes as well if you're wanting to mark your fabric with like a fabric pen or whatever. And then there's also the other side is a curved hem side with the same sizes of hem depths here. It's got a little hole so that you can hang up on your board or wherever near your sewing room, which I thought was quite cool. And the other thing that I didn't realise until I read about it was that there's also two different sort of corners here. So if you are maybe doing a pocket or something, you can iron the pocket round these corners to get a nice clean edge. So I'm super excited to use that. I haven't actually used it yet, but I'm very pleased to have that because I'm always burning my fingers when I'm ironing and that type of thing. So I'm hoping this will be good. You also get with it this little card, which has got instructions and things. I should hold it that way, sorry. Instructions and that type of thing so that you can get the most use out of it. So it's 100% silicone, it's heat resistant to 230 degrees, and it's made in Scotland, and her website is jenhogg.co.uk. So that's the first thing I got given. The other thing that I got given, which I also asked for, I'm just reaching underneath the camera here to get the things, is this pin block. And this is by Guthrie and Ganny. So actually there's a bit of a theme here because Lauren, who runs Guthrie and Ganny, was also a Sewing Bee contestant, I believe, in the first ever series. So she now has her own fabric shop, which I'm sure you know about. And I saw her talking about this on one of her videos, and I love this sort of clean aesthetic of it. So if I take the pins off, it's basically just a beautiful piece of wood with a magnet inside it. So that is what it looks like. The back of it has got this little bit of wood, which I guess is where they've drilled the hole to put the magnet in. And then the only other thing that's on it is G&G, which has been sort of burned into the wood, which I think is beautiful. And it's basically a magnetic pin holder. So if I just drop the pins on here, they go straight on. And it's a really, she did say when I heard her talking about this, that they'd spent quite a lot of time trying to get the magnet in exactly the right place so that it was strong enough that, you know, it was going to hold the magnets well, but it was also easy enough to get them off when you're actually using them. So it's, yeah, it's really lovely, and it makes me really happy because when you can spread the pins out in a wee sort of sundial thing, and it looks really pretty. So I like that. And also I'm always dropping my pins, and I've done a couple of wee tests, and if you drop your pins on the floor, you can just hover this over the top and they all stick to it really easily. So that's them all spread out. How cute. So I'm excited to use that. So it's easy just to take them off and throw them back on if you're just sort of taking things on and off of your projects as you go. So those are the two things I asked for. What I would say is if you're ordering these through the post, both of these arrived in branded packaging. So I picked them up and, you know, when the postie delivered them. And so I then saw that my husband had ordered them. So just a top tip, if you're ordering this for somebody in your household, you might want to intercept the post. So those are the two things that I asked for. And then I got three things that were a surprise, which is really lovely. So the first one, The first one is, well, both of these actually are from my best friend in London, and she got these for me. She knows, she's probably fed up of me talking about sewing, but she knows that I love sewing, so she bought me these presents. So the first one is actually a pin cushion in the shape of an apple, which is very cute, and it's Liberty fabric. Now, I don't own any Liberty fabric, so this is my first ever Liberty thing. So actually I was thinking, oh, I feel bad now because I opened this before I opened my magnetic pin one, and I thought, oh no, that's bad now, I've got two pin things. But actually, when you're taking, you know, sometimes I take hand sewing down to the sofa in my living room and watch TV or whatever. So I think actually something like this that's a bit more secure would be good for just grabbing and, you know, taking if you're maybe sewing on the move or whatever. I wouldn't take the little wooden block with me. I would have that just by my sewing machine. So that is very lovely. I should also say actually that was for my birthday, but my birthday's 4 days before Christmas. So there's always a bit of a blur of what's for what. So that was from her. And then also from her, my same friend, this was officially a Christmas present, came in this lovely velvet little pouch, and I took it out, and it's made of wood, I don't know if you can see that, and metal at each end. It feels really nice, excuse me, and on one side there is a seam ripper, and basically you pull it out and then you put it back in this side. So it's actually a really good, you know, it feels like really solid to hold on to, because the one I've got at the moment is quite small, which again is good if you're doing stuff on the move, but this actually feels really, really good. And the other side is same idea, pull it out and put it back in, is a needle threader. So also really useful. So I was just so thoughtful of her, and I asked her, I actually knew I was going to do this video, so I thought maybe people will ask me where she got it. So she got this down, I think, at a market in Devon somewhere, and I don't know the name of the company, and there's nothing branded on it, so it's such a shame because it's so beautiful. So that was a lovely surprise from her. And then the last thing that I got given, which is actually a bit weird because I gave this to my mum last year, is a book. And the book is called The Sewing Machine, and it's by Natalie Fergie, who is a Scottish writer. I think it's her first book. So I got given this by my sister-in-law for Christmas this year, and I think I gave this to my mum last year because I've definitely read about this book, or maybe I've heard about it in a podcast, I can't remember. But basically it is a novel, so it's fictional, but it's based in a sort of historic truth, if you like. So I'll read you the back. So it says, it is 1911 and Jean is about to join the mass strike at the Singer factory. For her, nothing will be the same again. Decades later in Edinburgh, Connie sews coded moments of her life into a notebook, as her mother did before her. More than 100 years after his grandmother's sewing machine was made, Fred discovers a treasure trove of documents. His family history is laid out before him in a patchwork of unfamiliar handwriting and colourful seams. He starts to unpick the secrets of 4 generations, one stitch at a time. So, yeah, one of the reviews on the back actually says, an extraordinarily accomplished and beautiful debut novel woven with historical detail. So I think that's what really attracted me to this book when I was buying it last year, was because the Singer Sewing Factory was a huge employer in the Glasgow area. I live in Glasgow and I'm right on the Clyde River, where all the shipbuilding used to take place. So I'm very aware of the sort of industry that used to be here. And so I'm really excited to learn more about the Singer Sewing Factory. So they used to take parts that were made in the US and build the sewing machines here. And the operation here got so big that they moved out to new premises out near Clydebank, where all the shipbuilding used to take place. And there's still actually a train station called Singer, after the Singer factory, which a little bit of trivia for you. So that book I cannot wait to read, and I find it really difficult to start new books. So I'm excited that there's sort of an in with this one, in that I kind of know a little bit about it already. I've read a little bit about it and I know a little bit about the history already. So hopefully that will be a bit easier for me to sort of dive in to the book. So that is The Sewing Machine by Natalie Fergie. And then the last two things I've got to share are actually gifts that were made for me or my family by a friend of mine who is also a crafter. She doesn't really do dressmaking as much, she does more crafty things, but she made these presents for me and my son for Christmas this year. So the first one that she made me, they're both crochet presents, and I don't crochet, so I'm super impressed with this. She made me this beautiful bunting, look, with little Christmas trees. So cute. So yeah, they're all alternating white, green and red all the way along, which is so lovely. So it's not been up this year, unfortunately, because she gave me it after Christmas, but I will be putting that in my Christmas box when I put all the decorations away, and I will use it next year. And then the last thing, I've saved the cutest thing till last, is this. My son, who is 7, is a huge Star Wars fan, and for his birthday she crocheted him Darth Vader, which obviously is all black, and she said it was an absolute nightmare because she couldn't see what she was doing because the yarn was black. So this time she made this little Yoda. I think he's actually a puppet. So cute. So this is little Yoda, and she said this one was much easier because, you know, well, this bit's dark, the brown, but the rest of it she said was much easier, and I just think his little ears are so cute. So I always just think, when you're a maker and somebody makes you something, or someone in your family something, you know how much work and time it will have taken, so you appreciate it more, don't you? So we make for each other because she appreciates my gifts and I appreciate hers. So that is the last thing I have to share today. So I hope you all had a lovely Christmas and New Year, either quiet or busy, whatever you were doing. I hope it was fun and you got to do a little bit of creative stuff in there. I didn't really get to do much sewing at all. I did some little jobs and some little presents, which I might share in another video as well. But hopefully as the year goes on, I'll be sharing my plans for this year and how I'm getting on with things, and just generally being more part of the online sewing community, because I've been watching a lot of people over the last year who've been really inspiring to me, who I will tag in this video, so hopefully some people will find me, and I look forward to seeing you soon for another video. Bye bye and Happy New Year.